5:30 p.m. on Monday, December 18th. We'll call the Mandan Public School District Number 1 to order. Next item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Is there any changes to the agenda? Seeing none from administration. Anybody else? Seeing none, what are the wishes of the board?
I move to approve the agenda.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Mr. Legacy, I'll let you decide who you want.
Haugen? Yes. Peters? Yes. Peel?
Yes.
Gazette?
Yes.
Horn? Yes. Wolf?
Yes. Next item is public communications. Anybody wish to address the public? Seeing none, we'll move on then to the administrator's report. Dr. Betts.
Yeah, I'd like to invite Silvana Dembidi up to the podium. I think she spoke to you a couple years ago. She was on Superintendent Baszler's student cabinet, and she wanted to take a couple minutes and just visit with you today.
Okay.
Welcome.
Well, hi, I'm Silvana. Some of you might remember me from 2 years ago. I was here and I was giving a presentation about the general information of Sudan, but majority of you probably saw the Diary of Amira, which was a story that I wrote. So, with coming up with the story was really more so taking parts from like my mom, from the stories that she went through, from my grandma to my cousins to girls I've seen online talk about their stories. I mean, the girls who all came from Sudan all have a story to share. They talk about the early marriages that they went through, the poverty that they went through, and some girls even died in it, child marriage. And it's an issue that really is neglected. A lot don't talk about it. It's an issue that honestly shocks me because the UN also reported that 50% of girls in Sudan are married before the age of 18, which is very heartbreaking. But when I wrote the Diary of Amira, it was mainly to bring awareness to the issue because it's something that goes on. I have cousins who right now are even in school, and it breaks my heart to know that I'm related to girls like those because, I mean, I'm in America and I have the ability to do something, but of course, hopefully I'll be able to bring awareness to the issue one day. So with writing this story, it took a lot of thinking because I wanted the perspective to come off as a way as the reader can feel themselves as Amira, to understand her struggles. So with coming up with their stories and everything, it just took a lot of ideas. But once I got the nail down on exactly writing diary summaries kind of helped. And I feel like that was the best approach I could have used because I feel as the writer that it allows the readers to really understand her struggles. So going through the story, there was a lot of struggles that she went through, from getting married at an early age, being abused by her husband. But one thing that I really would love to talk about is how she thought when she was getting abused that her husband still loved her in a way because he'd do certain gestures for her, even up to the point where she died, which was something that a lot of girls there think, and they're brainwashed to think. I mean, her grandmother was sick, yes, and her family were struggling with financial needs, but child marriage shouldn't be the option that they'd have to look to in that certain situation. So when it came to her getting married, she was brainwashed to thinking that her husband loved her, even though he really didn't. It was just because the family needed money. And when that happened, her grandma had passed, and her husband refused to let her go ahead and see her grandma for a funeral. And with that specific issue, I'd really like to talk about because that's something that even here in America, some women go through. I mean, they feel that their husband are able to take their husband is, well, they're basically their husband's property, and that nothing really belongs to them, that even their emotion and their body belongs to the husband. And especially being from Sudan, that is something that is huge. That's something that's seen traditionally. That's something that if you don't do, then you're seen as a bad person. And I mean, for me, just being the one person trying to bring awareness to the issue, I mean, might not be a lot, but hopefully writing this is one step closer to one day being able to solve this issue. And now I'd like to see if anyone had any questions for me.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Go ahead.
Silvana, first of all, I found this to be really. I read it and it was really moving in the way you did it in the diary form. I really appreciated that because it felt so up close and personal.
Yeah.
I'm curious. It sounds like you're poised to be a real activist, and I appreciate you working to use your voice to tell the story. But I'm curious if there's other organizations in the area that you are connected to that are helping to raise awareness, because it's always best to collaborate and bring voices together. And if you are, kind of connected into any networks or organizations, I'm just curious who else is doing this work, because it takes
Yeah.
it takes a unified force to make change and to raise awareness.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course it takes more than one person to be able to bring awareness to the issue. And as of now, I'm not working with any organization, but I'd be willing to in order to solve a problem like this. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, doing some research to find out where those places are happening, because you really have a voice, and I think it's
Thank
important
you.
to put it in a place where it can be amplified, and that sometimes takes a larger organization to help. So I'd hate for it to be limited to our
Yeah.
meeting, where I am glad to hear from you, but I'd like others to hear from you as well. So
Thank you.
So good work on putting an important issue out in the world. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? I'm just going to say thank you very much for coming and sharing. It was enlightening for me, too. I thought it was interesting to reading.
you.
Just remember, every journey starts with the first footstep. You're definitely starting down that path, so
Yeah, thank
good
you.
luck to you as you go through this.
Thank you very much. Yeah, have a good night.
You too, thank you.
you.
All right, moving on, board meeting schedule on January 16th and February 20th. Dr. Bitts?
Correct. You know, we meet on the first and third Mondays of every month. January and February both have holidays, Martin Luther King Day and President's Day. And we have traditionally met at 7 p.m. on those evenings. And I was asked, could we meet at 4 o'clock? And I don't know what works in your schedule. It doesn't matter to me. But would you rather meet at, we can't have this room at 5:30 because it's in use, but we can meet before or after. So we can continue to go at 7, or we can move it to 4. I'm not sure what your schedules are.
So the meetings before us start at 5:30, so we would have an hour and a half.
Correct.
Come in at 4. Okay. What are you guys' wishes in regard? I could, myself, I don't care either way.
I'd like to try 4 o'clock.
All right?
I would be available on the 16th, but not the 20th.
Okay. We can do one or both.
I think I could do both.
Both work for me, too.
Okay. You gonna miss the 20th either way?
No, I have a 3:30 meeting that goes until 4:30, so I,
How about this? Let's do 4 o'clock on the 16th, and we'll keep the other one at 7. We'll just split them.
Great, we can do that.
Then we'll just kind of, that way we can balance everybody out on here.
Thank you.
Will that work? All right, next one, CTE funding update.
Yeah, we, in your packet, we have 2 letters from the North Dakota CTE Department. The first one is for information technology, is a new program at Mandan High School. We were not getting reimbursed on this last year. This year, we will get 40% of the instructor's salary, benefits, and supplies. So that'll be a nice extra revenue for us. Then if you look at the second page, that's to the Heart River CTE schools. And basically, all the programs, not just at Mandan High School, but throughout the area. So agriculture programs, building trades, tech and engineering, welding, and then our director's salary, Kevin Nelson, his salary. Previously, we have been reimbursed at 27%. That will go up to 40%. So again, that's because we're in a center, we have this available to us now. So it'll be extra revenue coming our way.
Dr. Bitts, I just happened to notice on here the information technology request was not approved. Did it give us a reason why?
I think it is approved.
It says it was not.
There's a later document that approves it earlier in the packet, but
They're both dated November 20th, though. One's a new program request where it says it is approved, but then you look at that second letter.
one is a transfer, so they didn't approve it as a transfer.
Right.
Is
right.
that why?
They approved it as a new program, yes.
Okay, all right, I got you.
Yep. And it's not a center program, it's a Mandan High School program.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right, so I understand. One's approving it as a Mandan High School program.
Right.
These 5 all transferred to the CTE center.
Correct.
All
Got
right,
it. Sorry
now I
about
understand. Sometimes you got to lead the blind a little bit.
No,
All right. Any questions on that? Good. That's good news. Thank you.
yeah.
All right, to move on to the consent agenda. On the consent agenda tonight, we've got review and consider approval of previous board meeting minutes from November 20th, 2023, approval of the October 23 bills, the November 2023 revenue report, the November 23 expenditure report, accept the policy and personnel minutes from December 4th, 2023, accept the health insurance minutes from November 27th, 2023, review and consider approval of a second reading of the following policies. BDF, review of administrative rules. BDG, administration in the absence of policy. BE, school district records. BE-R, records request. BBC, board member orientation. BHA, conflict of interest. And review and consider approval of the second reading to delete the following policies. BE-E, records request form. And BG, school board membership. What are the wishes of the board?
I would move to approve the consent agenda.
All right, we got a motion to approve the consent agenda. We have a second? And we have a second. Mr. Legacy, please call roll.
Ford? Yes. Gazette?
Yes.
Heel?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes.
Haugen?
Yes.
Wolf?
Yes. Just one note here on here, we had the health insurance minutes, we were going to have in place we would have probably talked about at this meeting, the approval of the near-site clinic, but that got put off for about 2 weeks because of an issue with an individual having a death in the family. So the meeting for that is going to be on, Ryan, you remember when it was? Because I didn't see it on here.
I believe it's January 10th, and you're correct. We should add that to our upcoming meetings. It's January 10th, I believe, is what we did. At 4, there's 2 interviews at 4 and 5 o'clock. Is that right?
So that would have been something we should have had at this meeting, so we'll probably have it at the one in January there. All right, we'll move on to the new finished business. Review and consider approval of the first reading of following policy, CD, chain of command, and go ahead and you just work your way down the list, Dr. Betts. I'm assuming you're taking them all, right?
I am. I lost my spot here, sorry.
I'm sorry, I just jumped in on that, Pete.
No, I should have been ready. Chain of command, no real changes. I think we fixed a few typos in the last paragraph, but other than that, no changes to the chain of command.
Okay.
And then the next one, if you want me to continue.
Just
Yep.
continue, unless somebody's got questions, just jump
This is
in.
our updated org chart. We made a few changes. Dr. Rederath and I now supervise child nutrition, whereas Dr. Fosnot did that before. So we made a few changes there. We also added the CTE center. And other than that, no changes, or those are the changes to the chain of command, the chart or the org chart.
Okay.
And then the next one is superintendent's job description. And our committee didn't like the word shall and will be. They wanted more active language. So we didn't really change the job description. We just worded it better is a good way of saying it. And coming up, Ms. Gazette and I are going to work on a new evaluation for me. That's coming up a little later. That's going to mirror our job description, so that when you evaluate me or whoever your superintendent is, it will reflect the job description, which is, I think, good practice. Appointment of a superintendent, no changes. You can get input from committees, but ultimately the board will make the final selection. Superintendent professional development opportunities. We deleted the first sentence just because it didn't add anything, didn't give direction. It talked about that the superintendent shall notify the board president anytime a professional development takes him or her out of the district for more than 3 days. And I think that anytime the superintendent's gone for more than 3 days, they should just inform the board chair. It's just a good practice.
And you've been really good at that anyway, so.
Yeah. Evaluation of superintendent, we got rid of the first paragraph. In the second paragraph, it mentioned state law twice. We got rid of one of those. It was just duplicate language. And then other than that, didn't change the policy at all. It just better wording. Microsoft Word suggested this wording instead of what we had, and it does sound better. And again, Ms. Kazed and I will be getting a new evaluation put together that hopefully we can use in March. Okay, and then the next policy is graduation requirements. This was necessary because of some changes in the legislative session. We got rid of the first paragraph because it didn't really have anything, didn't give direction, it was just philosophical. In the second paragraph, we have graduates from both Mandan High and the Brave Center Academy, so we just changed the wording so that it covered both those graduates. And I think the fourth paragraph down, we have students that are with us till they're 21 years of age. Sometimes they want to graduate with their classmates when they're 18 or 19. We let them walk through, we give them a certificate, but we don't give them their diploma. If we give them their diploma, they no longer qualify to come to school. So I just kind of wanted to clarify that wording so that everybody's on the same page and everybody understands how that works. And then the next one is our actual graduation requirements. IHFR. Number 4 in the first section does not have anything to do with graduation requirements. I don't know why that was in there. We removed that. English, we met with them. I went over and Mr. Andreessen and the department chairs helped us with these. Good wording, but we just kind of wanted to make sure that we're updated. Mr. Miller helped us with the world history and social studies requirements. We haven't required 1/2 unit of health and career management for a couple of years. That should have been deleted. We still require 2 PE credits. Swimming is not required, but it can be one of those PE credits. And then we have at least 8 electives that students can take for 23 credits required for graduation. And I think that's it for policies.
That should be it for policies. Any questions, comments? Any changes, suggestions, motions? All right, we have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, we have a motion and a second to approve the first reading of the following policies. Since there's so many, I'll do it, just read them off. CD, chain of command, CD-E, chain of command chart. CE, superintendent job evaluation. CED, appointment of superintendent. CEG, superintendent professional development opportunities. CEI, evaluation of superintendent. IHF, graduation exercises, and IHF-R, graduation requirements. Seeing no discussions or comments, Mr. Legacy, call roll, please.
Haugen? Yes. Horn?
Yes.
Kazed?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes.
Steele?
Yes.
Wolf?
Yes. Next item, review and consider approval of request to be released from a teaching contract and have liquidated damage waivered.
Yeah. Mr. Tyson Maxon, who is a shared elementary PE teacher between Custer and Fort Lincoln, approached me. Solon had contacted him. They've been without a principal for a couple months. He said they've asked him if he'd be willing to apply. He said, I know I have a contract with you guys. If you tell me no, I won't even apply. Because I don't even know if I can get a provisional license to be a principal. And I told him, thank you for visiting with me. Go ahead, explore it. He did explore. He was able to get a provisional license. He did apply down there. They did offer him the job. I visited with Mr. NC at Custer and Mr. Langing at Fort Lincoln. They both felt like I did that Tyson should go explore this opportunity and that we should release them and waive damages. We always want to make sure that we have someone in place. I believe we have someone secured to sub until Christmas, and then with him, they'll work together this week. And then when we come back on January 3rd, we would give that individual a contract for the rest of the year. By giving him a contract in January, it is a non-continuing contract. The person could certainly reapply or for the position and may or may not get hired. So I did visit with Mr. Peters as chair of the Policy and Personnel Committee and the MEA representative, Chelsea Bittner. Our practice has been is that when you're leaving for a not like contract or that we do release the person and waive liquidated damages. So that would be our recommendation.
And here I think we're helping out another fellow school district to fill a position that they probably need, so.
That we are. They've lost a principal and a superintendent so far this year, so they are in need of some help.
Yeah. So we're helping too. Thoughts, comments, questions, motions?
I'll move to approve the release from contract with liquidated damages waived for Tyson Maxon.
We have a motion, we have a second? Second. And we have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, please call roll.
Ford,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Keel,
Yes.
Bezat,
Yes.
Elgin,
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes. Review and consider approval of the 24-25 Mandan Public School calendar. Dr. Betts.
Correct. This is in your packet. I brought it last month, and you asked us to get more feedback. We've been to every building other than Fort Lincoln and the high school. We have not been able to get there yet. We've shared it with our staff, and they are all pretty much under the assumption. Just real quickly, Northwest Contracting has told us that we're going to be able to move into the high school on August 28th. I tried to build a calendar with a student break each month and still allow us to graduate the Sunday of Memorial Day, which would mean graduating Friday, May 23rd. And you can't be done with 175 days, is what we traditionally have. If we reduce that and go to 174 days, we can make it work. That would be one extra teacher workday, which moving into a new high school will probably be a good thing to give them an extra day to work. September 30th and January 20th would be two district professional development days where all teachers would be together and as one. The other 5 teacher work days, professional development days, would be decided at the building level. The high school, I'm guessing, is going to be using them to move. Other buildings will make different decisions. It may be asynchronous. It may be time in the evening for an open house. There could be some different options there. I do think that this is probably our best option for a calendar. It's just going to be, I like to give parents and staff a chance to vote, but it doesn't really feel like there's anything to vote on with our limited options for this year.
All right, questions? Dr. Betts, of us moving on it tonight, you don't have an issue because you haven't talked to the high school and one other?
I don't. I think they all know about it. They're aware of it. We just haven't been to their staff meeting yet. We were trying to get to all of them, and
I guess if we can make a motion, if something really falls off the tracks, you can bring it back. Fair enough?
great.
All right. What are the board's wishes?
I would move to accept the 2024-25 calendar.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussions? Seeing none, please call roll.
Elgin. Bezat,
Yes.
Keel,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Ford. Yes. Wolf.
Yes. Last item on the agenda, review and consider approval of open enrollment application seeking a deadline waiver, and I don't see one laying here, Dr.
It's
Betts.
because it's still laying on my desk. I apologize for that. This is a Mandan family that moved out of our district that would like to continue to go here. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name. They brought it in, gave it to me, and I forgot to bring it. And I would ask that you approve this open enrollment application because it's my fault.
And we have, in my, I don't even know how many years on the board, never rejected one of these
Right.
anyway, so.
Legally, we can't.
We're not able to reject
Yeah.
them anyway. It's a formality for us to
It is,
accept
but I
it.
apologize.
So
I will.
for the yet unnamed family, I will move that we approve their open enrollment application.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second? All right, we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? I'm always glad to hear a family wants to stay here, so to me, that's a good thing. So, go ahead and call the roll, please.
Ford.
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Keel,
Yes.
Bezat,
Yes.
Elgin,
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes. Next item is future meeting dates, January 11th, or let's go January 10th, near-site clinic at 4 p.m. That's at the Brave Center, right?
Yes.
January 11th, Joint Powers, 12 o'clock, Raging Rivers. January 16th, School Board, 4 o'clock, Mandan City Hall. January 22nd, Student Achievement, 5 p.m., Brave Center. February 5th, School Board, 5:30 PM, City Hall. February 12th, Policy and Personnel, 5 PM at the Brave Center. Any other meetings that should come before us? Seeing none, meeting's adjourned.